Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Welcome to the live stream. We are excited to be back with you today. As always, we have the crew here, Jeriel, Nina.
I put Nina on first.
Oh,
Nina and
man.
Jeriel.
I had a 50-50 chance.
Well, I run through the numbers. I'm 3, so I always do me last. Yeah.
That's very Christian of you.
Yeah.
And ladies first.
Well, sure, yeah.
Right.
But
actually, I mean,
Head
Well,
honcho always.
okay,
Head
whatever.
honcho gets the first spot.
yeah.
I'm the youth ministry assistant, so I'm second.
So, hey, if you're here, say hey in the comments. We want to see who's tuning in. Say what's up back.
Dominic Brizzle is in the house.
Dominic.
I love every time I see his name.
Uh-huh.
It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Internally, not externally. I just do that laugh.
The heavy breathe
Yeah.
into the microphone.
Couldn't find a good name.
Couldn't find a good name. Yeah. Danny's with us. What's up, Danny?
Rat boy.
In the house. So yeah, it's an amazing week this week.
Hey.
I mean,
Yeah.
best week ever. And who would have known it comes during quarantine.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing week because we have a special guest with us this week. No big deal. So we're excited to.
Which is ironic, because from what I'm told, he's a pretty big deal.
He's kind of a big deal. Yeah. So it depends on who you ask, I guess. So
I make YouTube videos too.
and then this weekend, Friday and Saturday, is Apex.
Epics.
So normally we'd be getting ready to go to Pennsylvania
Yes.
and for an amazing conference, and now you get to enjoy that conference from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Hi, Courtney.
I think it'll still be good, though. I'm excited.
Oh, it's let me tell you, worship with Catherine Mullins.
Yes.
I mean, come on. And then Massey Campos, keynote speaker, and then we're having 2 conversations, kind of breakout type of things. So you're going to want to tune in for that. We've been posting about it on Instagram. It's free. You can share it with your friends. Maybe you have some friends that might be interested in church, checking things out. All you got to do is send them the link to the Apex YouTube page. So you can find that through Instagram. We're posting it. It shouldn't be that hard to find. So we're promoting it. We're putting it out there. So you go to the Apex YouTube page. It will be live streamed. The schedule for that is on our Instagram. It's on our Facebook. But Friday night,
I screenshotted it.
Yeah.
I saw the post. It said, "Hey, stop what you're doing and screenshot the next post." And I did.
yeah, booyah.
I did that.
So general session Friday night at 8, and then Saturday you got 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 8 p.m. So listen, you guys typically would set aside that time for Apex. So
More than that.
yeah, more than
All
that.
right, yeah.
So set that time aside. Afterwards, we're going to be doing Zoom parties. So Friday night, we're going to do an all youth group Zoom after party. And then Saturday night, we're going to do guys on a Zoom call, girls on a Zoom call. So that'll be more like a small group after
AKA
party.
a fun call
Yeah.
and a girl's call.
Ooh.
Hey, we have fun.
Yeah, but the boys.
Whatever.
The boys. So, hey, make sure you tune in for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, what?
What did we talk about last week?
Yeah. So let me tell you about what we talked about last week. So I'll tell you this story. So I'm preparing my sermon. I'm reading Matthew 24, verse 14, the parable of the talents. And I'm reading about it, and I just keep repeating this line over and over. About not bearing my talents. So there's this hip hop artist, one of my favorites.
No way.
No big deal.
Oh,
He says, "You say I'm prideful and whiling, bro, but I just won't bury my talent." Oh no. You say I'm prideful and whiling. No, I just won't bury my talent, bro. I'm gonna leave the professional
yeah,
rapping to him,
yeah.
and I'll just keep writing sermons. But I'm like, so this is one of my favorite songs. It's called Fieldhouse Freestyle. It's off his mixtape album. So I'm listening to it, jamming it, writing my sermon, and I'm like, you know what? My man's in quarantine. I should just hit him up and see if he wants to come on and like speak to the youth group. So I did. I hit him up. We had met a couple times because I've done photography at a couple of his shows.
No way.
So hit him up, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll come on." So
That is what's up.
so we have him here. Should we
have
bring him on?
We should.
All right. Hey, let's get a big round of applause from the peanut gallery here.
Do you want me to physically clap or?
No, don't physically.
Okay.
There's a clap emoji. Type in
Yeah.
your clap emoji.
can-
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
can-
yeah. We'll do that.
You can clap emoji. All right. Go ahead, Jeriel. You can bring him on, and then
Oh, we're on.
give us some volume.
We're here.
All right, Dilly, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Welcome to the stream.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Cool. So, things going okay for you down there? You're in what, Tennessee?
Yeah, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. A little bit outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, man. Just been, actually kind of enjoying the time at home. Obviously, I get to still be creative here. Got a home studio, and we've been also doing a lot of house projects, which I'm sure a lot of people can identify with during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I heard that, yup.
Yeah.
Oh, we just
But,
moved, bro. Like this weekend, so we've been ripping and running, trying to get the house figured out.
Yeah, Jeriel and his wife Nina, who are both here, they just moved this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, making a few necessary trips to Lowe's and Home Depot, but other than that, just trying to stay healthy. Stay at home.
I see you working on that double sink. Did you get that boy finished?
Yes, we did. We did. We changed out the countertops, changed out the sink, changed out the appliances because we're like fixing the house up too. So yeah, we got it. It took yesterday and today, but we got it there. It was mostly my father-in-law who did it, to be honest. But I had to put my little part on Instagram.
Right. Love it. So I learned something about you about a week ago. So you were on one of my favorite shows, Double Dare.
Yes, true.
So
Really?
Double Dare 2000, because it was two different shows.
Okay,
But-
Double Dare 2000. Okay, because I was gonna say, I mean, maybe I had watched that, but 2000, no,
That was my.
I was
jam.
in high school. By the
2000 was my jam.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
What?
so Dilly was on Double Dare, and that's when I
2000.
learned what your real name was.
Yeah. Now it all makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Dylan, no big deal. That's why the DYL is there at the end.
Yep. So,
Yeah, man.
Double
Once
dare.
people like figure out my real name, then they never forget they never forget how to spell my stage name after that.
right, and then so the thing about it is now that I know that, it trips me up to say Dill because it's like, do I say Dill or Deal?
Yeah.
Very, very different.
So
In the
so where
South,
you
I feel
guys
like
at?
it's similar.
Yeah, where are you guys at?
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, down here it's the same word. That's the whole thing.
It-
Oh,
Exactly.
Like,
That was
Deal.
what was in my head because I was like, oh, I know that's like, because I have family from the South,
Uh-huh.
and so I know like, okay, those words are pronounced the same exact way.
It doesn't come
Yep.
through the nasal passages. Quite
No.
the same.
Yeah.
Deal.
And
It's
you're
Dill. Like,
very
so, I mean,
Ohio about it.
I was born in California. I was raised here though, but my whole family's from California, so I'm
Okay.
able to hear the differences.
Okay.
And down here, Dill, like for Dylan, and Dill for deal. You say it the same way. So that's why I made my name that way, because it's a play on words, but it's also a homophone down here. So
That's sweet. That's
Yeah.
good. All right. So, well, let's get into your story a little bit.
Okay.
So I do want to get into this, this lyric here and talk about the parable of the talents, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about your come up?
Okay, yeah. Man, as far as music, which that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and you know, maybe a little bit of your testimony in there with that about how you
yeah,
came to
it's
follow the
all
Lord.
it's all intertwined. So, as far as music, I come from a musical family. My uncle is a drummer. He was a marching band drummer, like prodigy, basically in California with the California Blue Devils, and then he became a jazz drummer and like studied it, played with a lot of jazz people, and then moved down here to Nashville and became a session drummer. And now he plays with he's played with a lot of people, but he plays with like a lot of country people now, like Brett Eldridge and even Hank Williams Jr. and stuff like that. So he's like a touring drummer. So I grew up going to his gigs, seeing him play in all these clubs and stuff. And a lot of times there would be spoken word poets at the jazz clubs too. So like he'd be playing for a jazz act, there'd be a spoken word poet. And so from a very young age, I was like introduced to like that rhythm and then the content and the kind of lyrical dexterity that comes from spoken word poetry. So that's like what piqued my interest really young. Got into poetry first, was doing spoken word poetry. And yeah, long story short, I went in my teens, I was like, my early teens, I wanted to make beats. And so that's kind of what I set my mind on. Illegally downloaded Fruity Loops and started making beats. Had like a little rap clique in middle school and high school, and we were doing the whole thing, and then went to MTSU for audio production, Middle Tennessee State University, which is it's like top 5 in the nation for music business and audio production.
Little plug there. I like
yeah, little plug there. I know. Well, you know, I'm proud of my state, and a lot of people don't know, but like
we call it humble brag.
Like a lot of your favorite artists have gone to MTSU. You know, it's a state school, but their program is just crazy. But
sweet,
anyway,
love it.
Yeah. So anyway, went there, learned the first semester that I was like, there was no way I was gonna make it as a audio engineer. Like the kids were so far ahead. Like I was just from this little country town. They had all this stuff already, and so I switched to music business, and kind of started pursuing that and started managing like different artists on campus. Then started doing internships. Ended up interning with Derek Minor and Reflection Group, and all the while I was still recording. I was still rapping because like that's not something you study. You just you just do it until you just put in your 10,000 hours. So I was still doing that, but I was kind of careful. I was like, I need to, my dad's just a businessman, very successful in business. So like, I was like, I need to have something that's less risky than being an artist. And so I was like trying to be careful. And so I was like, all right, well, managing other artists, I can still be close to music, but it's something that has like at least a less risky paycheck. And so I'll just pursue that. And Derek kind of picked up on that in a lot of different ways. One, he picked up on it because I was recording all the time with my friends. And he came into a session one time. He had let us just use his studio. He came in and heard something. He's like, this is you? Like, this is amazing. Like, you're really talented, whatever. And he kind of like sewed into me that way. And then on the other hand, I was just really not that good at being his road manager. I was like double booking his flights and stuff like that. so it was a mixture of him like really encouraging me in my talent and then also being frustrated with with my pursuits as a manager. And he was like, "Nah, I gotta push you out of the nest. Like, you need to be an artist. Also, you're fired." Like, yeah. So yeah. So that's kind of so after anyway, after he fired me, that was like that was a little spark I needed, and like immediately went into recording mixtapes and like put out like 3 projects in I think maybe 14 months, and then and that's kind of like how I got into it. So
Love it, man. So where did you find Jesus along the way?
okay, so I was raised in a Christian household. My parents have you know, they had been going to church since before I was born, and they brought me into that. My dad had to move around a lot with his job, but every time we would move, I was the new kid a lot, and I've lived in like every region of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom would always make sure like the first thing we would find in the little town that we were in was a church and get us plugged in there. So I say that because I had a really solid foundation in my parents kind of introducing me to the scriptures and the faith and who God is and everything. But on the other hand, that can make it really hard for the faith to really be yours and not just be because I wanted to be a good kid. So I wanted to make my mom happy. So I wanted to make good grades. I want to stay out of trouble. And I kind of just added Christianity onto that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that I'm a good kid, you know, bring home a good report card, stay out of trouble, go to church, and love Jesus. It was more of just a cultural, that's what we do as a family type thing for me. Not that that's what they wanted, but that's what it was for me. And that started to really show itself as I grew up, you know, and got some more freedom, you know, started going to middle school and high school and actually having the ability to make decisions for myself. I wasn't walking with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, I at the time I thought I was, but it's because I had such a small view of what walking with Jesus was. And just, you know, basically, you know, if I've said the prayer, then I'm good type thing. And
right.
And so, yeah, you know, making wrong decisions. And but it really kind of all culminated like at the end of high school, right before college. Went to this camp that I had been going to with my church like for years, and the pastor was preaching in James 2:19.
James will get you
every time.
Right?
James
Yeah.
will get you every time.
Yeah, James 2:19, and you know, you believe there is one God, you do well. Even the demons believe and shudder.
And shudder.
And then, and shudder, exactly. And then his sermon was going through the different times that Jesus had encountered demons, and part of his sermon, demons in the scripture, and how every time they know exactly who he is and they respond accordingly. So they're fearful, or if they're you know possessing somebody, then the person falls prostrate and they say, you know, you're the Son of God. Have you come to destroy us before the time? You know, please just send us into the pigs. You know, you know. And he's telling them to be quiet, and they're saying who he is. You know, so that really shook me, because I was like, man, the demons, like, they know who he is, and they believe they know of his power and that he's going to destroy them. Like, they're not even like in denial. They're like begging for mercy. They know he's the Son of God. And the people that were around at the time didn't even believe that, but the demons are like, please, like, you know. And so I had to ask myself, well, what makes me different than the demons? You know, because I mean, I believe in him, but I think I just believe in him like they do. I just say it, and then I'm just trying to avoid any harm. I'm not, you know, I just wanted to avoid hell, basically. but I didn't love him, and I didn't want to walk with him, and I didn't want to have, um, you know, a relationship with him and give him complete control over my life. And so anyway, that sermon was really the spark for that. And then there was a lot of other times where God made his hand very evident, but that was like the first time that it like became real.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think that's a good segue into what I really wanted to get into today, which is talking about the parable of the talents. I think a lot of us have found ourselves in that place before where it's like we believe in God, but are we following God? Mm-hmm. And Jesus, he lays out this parable of the talents, and if anybody's not familiar with that, the parable is that this guy who owned this business and all this land, he went away and he put 3 of his servants in charge of what he had. So one, he gave 5 talents, which is, even though it's 5, talents are a lot. So one, he gave 5 talents. To another, it was 2 or 3. 2. Yeah, I can never remember that. So 2, and then to the other 1. And so the 5 talent, the guy who was given 5 talents doubled it. He took it and invested it. It said that he immediately put it to work. So right away he put it into work and doubled that investment. The 2 talent guy did the same thing, and then the 1 talent guy just buried it. And then when the business owner came back, he wanted to see what everybody did, and the ones that were faithful, he said, "You've been faithful with a little, I will give you more to be in charge of." And then the guy who did the 1 talent, who buried it, actually blamed the master and said, "Well, I know that you're a harsh leader, a harsh master, and so I was afraid, and so I hid it." And he's like, "Well, if you're afraid, I'm harsh, then you should have done something with it." So he took it from him and gave it to the 5 talent guy. So in this song, Fieldhouse Freestyle, you say I'm prideful and wild, and no, I just won't bury my talent, bro. Can you explain like what that lyric means to you?
Yeah, so we had talked a little bit about this on the phone, but being a hip hop artist, the thing that you always have to balance is how do I practice this art form excellently, and still obey like the call to humility that we see like in scripture, in Philippians 2, because it's such a competitive art form, and has so many of the elements are like about, making much of yourself and bragging and stuff. And it sounds really dope, So I'm always wrestling with that. I'm always checking myself on that. And a lot of the styles, just the style of how I rap and my friends rap, like people can take it as prideful, as egotistical. And so I wanted to address that. And there's a difference in humility and denying the gifts that God has given you,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times what people want to see, or what people are, what they're asking other people to do is to deny their gifts, not to be humble. So people, for example, want, they give you a compliment on, "Oh man, this is such a great show." And you say, "Oh no, this is just a little show, oh man." That's not humility.
Right.
That's humility. That is belittling the gift. If it's an excellent show, then humility would be giving the honor to God for the excellent show.
Right.
Like humility is knowing that you've been given it as a gift and pointing to the giver with it, not belittling the gift. And so that's the message of that.
That's bars right there.
Of that lyric is don't fake humble. That's corny, and being fake humble is a way of being prideful. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. do the harder work, which is to find a way to point to God in the excellence that He is giving you. So that's basically the idea of that lyric.
That's good. That's a good word, and I do definitely appreciate that. So speaking of humble and compliments, I ran an official competition on my photography Instagram a while back for the best smile in Christian hip hop. So it was
I don't remember that.
it was No Big Deal versus Mark the Bad Guy.
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't see that. I wish I would have seen it.
So I'll send them to you. So who do you think won?
That's hard. I really did not think you were gonna pull Mark the Bad Guy up. Well, I'm gonna say, since it was from your Instagram, and since Mark is also from up there, I think he might have hometown advantage. So I'm gonna say Mark won.
Let's see if I don't know if you can see
Oh,
it.
it's me. It's me.
That's a blowout.
68 to 32%.
Wow.
That's a blowout.
It's official.
That's unanimous.
It's official.
Even in Detroit. Okay, that's interesting to me, because I would have thought he would have had the hometown.
I mean, me too. But it's a good smile. It's so good. Your last album is from here down on you. It's just your smile.
That's true. I know people can tell it's my smile. That's what I was thinking with that cover. I was like, I think that's like my defining feature. Like, I don't think you really need much else other than that. So, but Mark is definitely a worthy contender.
For sure.
That was
sure.
a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, as I go through and I've edited all these different artists and different shows, and I'm like, man, that's a good smile. So I put them together. I did a whole series on it, and then did it.
I really do get it from my mom. If you knew my mom, I don't know if she's been at any of the shows that you've been at, but it's definitely her smile. And smiling is like our resting face. So like sometimes I don't even know I'm smiling. Like I get asked, "Why are you smiling?" all the time, and then I'm like, "Oh, I don't know."
That's great. That's great. Love it. So we will keep talking through some things, but if anybody in the comments has any questions for Dilly, go ahead and put them in the comments and we will pass them along. So you had talked about using your giftings, using your talents, kind of taking what God has given you and pursuing that. Did you ever have times throughout your journey where maybe you were on the flip side of that, where you were like paralyzed by fear, like not feeling like you didn't have enough? Part of our conversation last week was, how would you feel if you were the one talent guy and the owner was
wow.
Here you go, and then you feel like everyone else is more talented than you, and this guy was kind of maybe frozen by that. And so he just buried it.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I have never thought about the parable of talents from that perspective. That's a really great perspective. I definitely have felt like the one talent guy before. I also think there, I was going to say there's something with artists, but honestly, there's just probably something just with all of us where even you could pick whoever, any famous person or somebody you think is really accomplished. And I think at times we all feel like the one talent guy in the story. And a lot of times we're just trying to project ourselves as the 5 talent guy, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I would say, as far as God's perspective, I think like a major part of that story is how much he gives to us only attests to his greatness, not the greatness of the person he gives it to. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like God is not looking at the 5 talent guy and thinking that he's better than the 1 talent guy, and that's why he gave him those gifts. He just had he owns everything. So he had some stuff and he was like, this will make sense for this person. And if they're faithful with it, then it'll cause this good thing, because all good things come from God. So I'm going to give this amount of my untold riches to this person, and this good thing will happen. And I only need to give this much to this person, and this is what will happen. You know, we never think of it like that. We think of, oh, he has more than me. But it could just as well be, oh, God was like, oh, I only need to give this much to this person to have the yield that I, God, want to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even if you think of it in real flesh and blood terms, like, think about what he gave people like Mother Teresa, or what he gave to like Martin Luther King Jr., like almost nothing. But exactly what he gave them was all he needed to get the yield that he needed from them. Yeah. You know? For David, he chose to give, as a king, he chose to give him a lot more, and he got that yield from him. But David's yield is not MLK's yield, is not Mother Teresa's yield. Like, there's all different paths that we have, and God, who is great, is the one who divvies out depending on the outcome that he wants, not depending on how great each person is, you know?
Yeah, that's good. And, you know, not everybody starts as a 10 talent, 15 talent, you know, like, I know who No Big Deal is now. First time I heard you was on the Better Late Than Never tour. But I don't know who No Big Deal was when you were grinding in college,
right?
You know, laying that groundwork, you know. And so that's another thing, is we don't see people's faithfulness. We don't see the nights that you were up till 2-3 in the morning, you know, laying tracks down and things like that, while other people were sleeping.
Yeah, very true.
So yeah, that comparison can be something that really paralyzes us in our faith. And not just, when I say faith, I don't just mean our belief with God, but the faith in what God is calling us to.
Yep.
So
absolutely, I've been paralyzed by comparison before, and it's something that you have to consistently weed out, consistently kill. You know, it's not something that you just like get rid of and now you're good. Like, you got to stay on top of it. You know, one day it'll be completely gone, but right now you got to stay on top of it.
Right. So you have a new song out, just dropped like a week or two weeks ago?
A week ago, I think. Relief.
Ago? Yeah. Why don't you tell us about that?
So Relief is so it's technically Ryan Lamar's song, but it's like this huge collaboration with me and Cannon and Byron Juwan, Chris Noel, Jack Red,
John
Gibbs. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna forget somebody, but yeah. And it was really cool. It sparked off with Ryan Lamar's idea that you know, that our only true relief, like the only true answer to the pain and the troubles that we go through, is God. And Byron kind of took it from there, and he came up with that hook. And once that happened, then, and he sent that around, then we just all kind of crafted it that way. And really the highlight of it was everybody meeting up in LA for the video, and just being able to like spend time with all the artists. And man, it was such a good time. But yeah, man, it's just that it's a simple message, but there was like a lot of different perspectives on that simple message, that like Jesus is the only actual relief, like not all these other things that we try to soothe ourselves with, but he's the one true relief.
That's sweet, man. So your brand is this indie tribe. Mm-hmm. So Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. So, Indie Tribe. Um, a lot of people think the original idea was like just being indie artists, which I guess now that is like wrapped into it. But that the original idea, it was actually explained in my first like real song and music video after Derek fired me, and it was called Indie. But but I said some stuff in there that I don't agree with now, so I made it private on YouTube, so you can't see it. But yeah, so really, if I explain the video, then it explains the thing. So like the video was like all these different people, all different walks of life, principal, a really young ballerina, a skateboarder, just all these different people. They were a very, very diverse cast, all look different. And it's actually them like rapping my verse. So they're all like, it's like close-ups on their face and they're rapping. They're also doing whatever they're doing. Like the skateboarders on a half pipe and ballerinas like doing a recital. And then at the end of the video, they all pull these black ski masks down over their faces. Like, so, and you get these really cool images like this. I mean, it was my little cousin, but she was like 6 in a pink tutu with this like black ski mask and all the stuff. And the idea was like this, that they were all part of this rebellion against like the status quo and the boxes that people put certain people in. So the simple idea was like pushing against the boxes that people put hip hop music in, or put rappers in, or put young Black men in, or young Hispanic men in, because it was like 3 of us at the beginning, all Black, Hispanic, and like rising to our calling, you know. So we were independent of the status quo. That's where the indie came from, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
cool, man. Do we have any other questions come in?
No.
Okay. So
I think everybody's just kind of chilling and enjoying listening. So
cool. So I want to give you the last word. Is there, so basically our group is 7th through 12th grade. We got students in that whole range there, about 12 to 13 up through 18. And so they're trying to figure all this out. Yeah. Do you want to leave them with any encouraging words, kind of having gone through that?
Yeah, for sure, man. Man, that was like such an important part in my life and my development. Like those years, they're very special years. A lot of times people look down on those ages and they kind of think they're not as important as adults, like your value comes when you're like fully an adult and you're like kind of getting there. So we'll just kind of like, we'll throw some cool, fun things your way. But nah, man, like you guys are just as much of a soul and just as much loved by God as anybody else, And I would just say that kind of like what we've been talking about, like, even if people treat you poorly and are unkind and ignore you and I was really bullied in middle school too. So like even if people like bully you or push you to the margins or whatever, that is not how God is. They're not representations of God, and it doesn't take any importance or any value or any love away from you. God loves you exactly the same amount regardless of how people treat you. And in the end, any suffering that you've gone through, none of it'll be wasted. He is while we're here on earth, he will use suffering to make you into the person that you become. And you're going to have so many gifts and you're going to be able to help so many people by going through suffering. That's the only way that we grow, is through suffering. But also, once we're with him forever, like he's gonna wipe away all your tears, and everything is gonna make sense, and it's gonna feel completed and whole, you know. So I just wish somebody would have told me that my and I'm sure a lot of people tried to, and I just didn't hear it. But
Right.
your worth is just not at all in people's reaction to you. You are immeasurable, like you're incredibly valuable because God said so, and that can't change. And any suffering that you go through won't be wasted, and will make you stronger and into the person that you're gonna be.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good. Definitely, we'll say a big amen to that. You know, like you said, when we meet Jesus face to face, we'll have a clear picture. But even being an adult now, hindsight being that 2020, all that stuff I went through helped bring me to where I am. So that's good, man. I appreciate that, and I so appreciate you coming on. And,
yeah, man. Thank you for asking me, man. I appreciate it. Like you said, we're in quarantine, so just trying to find a way to connect with people and help others, man. So it's been a pleasure for real.
Cool, man. So can I pray for you real quick before we head out? All right. God, I just want to pray over Dill, and Lord, pray blessing over him. God, his music has been such an encouragement to me over the past couple of years. And so, God, I know that it's been an encouragement to many other people, and these little lyrics just put throughout the songs, they come into our mind when we need them. And so, God, I know that other people are in that same boat. I just pray a blessing over him and his wife, and God, the ministry that they are doing, and would you bless them, keep them safe, and Lord, give them all the territory where they walk. Lord, whatever they put their hands to, may it be blessed by you, and may it all point to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, man.
All right, man. We'll be in touch. Thanks a lot. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
Well, what a cool dude.
What a cool dude, eh?
That was really a cool time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Just hearing what he had to say, and I always like hearing like people's stories, where they're coming from, where they've been, and like I'm into like, this is why I wrote this song, or this is why I wrote this and that song. So that stuff to me is, I like to nerd out with that. It makes me like relate to artists, and it makes me like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to listen to your stuff now.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of backstory that you're just not quite aware of,
Yeah.
One of the things that he talked about that I really appreciated was, just hearing about where he started, and like getting fired by Derek Minor, and
Right.
I mean, for a lot of people, like if that was me, I might have just been like, all right,
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go work somewhere else, but I think his testimony really speaks to like the parable of the talents, and just staying faithful, and even what he talked about suffering, because we look at other people's lives and we assume it comes easy, right?
Right.
And so, whether you heard of No Big Deal or not, like he's a big deal in the Christian hip hop world. I mean, he's one of the biggest names, and we can look at that and go, oh yeah, well, he, what separated him from these thousands of other people trying to make it, and not that other people aren't being faithful, but he had to be faithful. He had to work hard. It wasn't handed to him.
Right.
So the idea of multiplying your talents is work.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But I think like when we talk about our faith, so much of that is like everything's free.
Yeah.
Right. Your salvation is free. Your grace is free. You don't have to earn it so that nobody can boast.
Yeah, and that's all true. But like, there's a reason that like go chase your blessing is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because like, biblically speaking, it's not abiblical to like chase your blessing and like work toward that. And you know, I feel like that was what our last year of our lives together was
Yeah.
just like grinding it out and like chasing that blessing. And then this year, like, we're kind of in that harvest, which is like nice to like be on the other side of that and see that the talents that we put to work are coming back. So like, just for me and for us and where we're at, I feel like this is like all very timely of just me understanding this more as my maturity grows in just as a human being and in my faith. So yeah, you know, salvation is free, but you definitely can't chase that blessing.
Hey, we get back to James with that. With I'll show you my faith by what I do. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. So if you're watching this, if you're still with us, you know, as we wrap up here, I just want to encourage you to first check out No Big Deal. You know, listen to some of his music. Hopefully, it's an encouragement to you, and then also, you know, work out your faith. You know, you got to grind it out. You have to put it to work. And I feel like right now, it's very difficult to do that. People are over everything. It's very difficult to get anybody to do anything right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just got to make the decision though that, you know, hey, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my faith to work. I'm going to multiply my talents, and then you will receive a reward for that. So that's my encouragement to you. And part of that is coming out to Apex this weekend. So
yes,
set that time aside. Go and subscribe to the Apex YouTube channel. So when they go live, you'll get a little notification. Put the reminders in your phone. Listen, if you don't put a reminder in, you're gonna forget. So just do it. And yeah, we'll see you there. We'll see you at the Zoom after party.
Yes.
It's
gonna be a hoot and a half,
Excited.
as they used to say in the 60s.
I do remember
Like,
the
you know
60s.
that.
Good times.
My mom is from the 60s.
So are
And
my
my dad.
parents, but
Yeah, so whatever.
I don't know.
Hey,
Morgan's excited.
Morgan's excited. She's going to be there. Morgan, invite your Chippewa Valley High School Salt and Light friends.
Yes.
Tell them to come on out. And yeah, it'll be good. All right, y'all. We will see you on Friday night, I suppose.
Yeah.
This is Greg and Jerry Elanina signing off.
We have
Should
sign
we
off
freestyle
music.
real quick?
This is
No, just kidding.
We're legit.